Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and today we have another Neuro-Sama video. This one is Neuro-Sama Deep Dive AI Made with Love. This is from a creator called MirraTheArtist. If you have not seen the original, go watch it on that channel first. Do not watch it here first. You're here for my dumbass ramblings about a topic I'm only just getting into, so keep that in mind. I will have the original link down in the description, which is far more important than my video. Anyway, if you're here for me and to hear my dumbass takes on shit, then by all means, stay here. Let's take a look.
There's no doubting what you've achieved on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art. There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing.
Okay, does anyone get the just the initial feeling that this is like a history lesson from like 2,000 years into the future kind of a thing, but like a look back? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song.
Wait, why is... Am I losing my mind? She's equipped with a built-in soundboard. Okay, so whatever captions are built into this thing are not not real, I guess, because these aren't the regular captions. That threw me the hell off. Maybe that's supposed to be like that. I'm just just nitpicking. That's OCD for you, by the way. Okay.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips.
Yeah, okay. That is better. Yeah, okay. Okay, it is better that she has a helium tank. All right, I just got so freaking confused.
She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
I don't know. I think piloting the robot dog is better than the ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Oh. Is that intro an intro to another game or something that I'm just not aware of, and they just superimposed the captions on it for Vedal or Vedal? I always get those wrong, and people have told me multiple times. I bet you that's from something I've just never seen before. Now, to be fair, I don't watch a lot of TV shows, so that's partly the problem.
Mr. Vedal is a loser.
Quick disclaimer, this is not a new introduction. I recommend watching this video when you already have a basic understanding of who or what Neuro-Sama is. For that, I'd recommend these videos.
Okay, I think I watched... No, I watched this one down here. I guess we skipped this one up here, unless this isn't the Dug Dug one. This is a different one. All right, fine. We're gonna watch this one next after this video, because I was recommended this one. I don't know if I was recommended that one. I might have been. I don't know. I have a basic understanding of how neuro works. Basic. Primarily, the big thing I don't know is, well, and I do know based off of your comments down in the description of the last 3 videos, because you guys are very, very thorough. The Swarm is very good at this, and they're very nice about it. There is a massive backstory that you guys either have and it's pretty coherent down in the comments, which is great, because a lot of my comments and some of the other videos are all over the place, and I'm like, which one do I believe?
I'm here to provide you with more in-depth information as a long-time Neuro watcher. I've been here since evil was just a thing. I know, not an OG, but cut me some slack, okay? I was over my VTuber phase until I found Neuro. When people talk about Neuro, you might see terms like V2, V3 getting used, and initial confusion is to be expected. After all, Neuro isn't just one AI. Since her debut, the AI that plays the game and the one that interacts with chat are separate. Nowadays, Neuro is a network consisted of several different parts. I will try my best.
See, that's what people were trying to explain to me in the comments, because the AI that controls her Minecraft is totally different. Then there's the AI that controls her filter system, so she doesn't say crazy shit like the Holocaust isn't real. Then there's the you have evil, which yes, I know a bunch of people have mentioned in the comments that even though I said her name was Evil Neuro, people are like, no, her name is Evil, damn it. And I'm like, I understand that, but she just doesn't seem evil to me. Regular Neuro seems more evil to me. Now, to be fair, this is video 4, so I'm sure I haven't seen any of the videos where she's screaming bloody murder and death at everyone, so that's what I'm missing.
Best to explain the system from what I've learned as a 2-year viewer of Neuro, who has zero knowledge of any form of basic coding, so you don't have to worry about any big words that you may not understand.
No, I like the big words because I like coding. To be fair, though, this is going to be definitely a very interesting, informative video.
Vedal has always been very secretive and protective of the actual inner workings of the Neuros, so all information is from my own experience and what I've learned from others. Firstly, Neuro has 3 main VTuber models, each labeled V1, V2, and V3. V1 was the free Hyoria model from VTube Studio. V2 and V3 both have improvements and changes compared to the model that came before. V2 being a total remake of V1 with custom toggles and expressions.
I mean, I totally get this. I actually did look into this because my wife also does a lot of online stuff, primarily like Let's Play type things, but I'm not in that sphere. So I was looking into the prices and things on Fiverr, and holy crap, there is a huge difference between the basic ones and the $2,000 decent middle ground ones. And then you can go even higher.
2 being a total remake of V1 with custom toggles and expressions. And V3 is even more expressive. For Evil, I do see people using the same labels as Neuros, but her situation is a bit complicated. Her first appearance was just Neuros V1 with red eyes. Then Neuro got V2, and Evil received several recolors until finally settling on the black outfit, red ribbons, and red eyes. Recently, as of her birthday, Evil got a redesign and her own model that isn't just a recolor of Neuros V3. Their models also have preset animations and expression toggles that are 100% controlled by them.
See, that's actually really cool. That's the best part about this. Because even 5 years ago, this had not even barely begun to scratch the surface of what we can do. 5 years from now, I want to see how these characters are 5 years from now. And this is also, I want to see from a corporate side how we could implement not necessarily Neuro into like a corporate setting, but just I want to see how you can get models kind of like this that are more trained on more human type speech in definitely elder care. Someone mentioned elder care. Elder care would be a very good place to start with AI systems that can just keep people company, because a lot of people, and this is unfortunate, just don't go visit their parents enough especially when they're in homes, and especially when they start having dementia. An AI would probably never get bored for the most part, and you can program them to basically just delete certain things so they never get pissed off at you for asking the same question 1,000 times. I would love to see that in primarily the medical field, but it could work in a bunch of different fields, just as we get more and more technologically advanced over the next 100 years. That's my fun tangents.
Have preset animations and expression toggles that are 100% controlled by them. Only a few are redeemable toggles available for chat. Notice how I said main models. It's because their V2 had a few different outfits, and occasionally are given accessories for certain streams.
I kind of want to see this stream. This one looked fun.
I predict we'll also get more outfits for V3. Next, their voice. Neuro's original voice, referred to as V1, is just a simple text-to-speech, high-pitched anime girl voice, being relatively monotone and limited in replicating certain sounds and
I mean, to be fair, that's not as awful as it used to be. I remember the original ones from like the early 2000s. Yeah, they were bad. Now, like I had a friend who worked at a church, and he was 100% blind, and he used I forgot what I think it was Dragon. He used Dragon specifically to do all his work, and he was and Dragon at the time was very good at controlling the computer, but he did full-time everything. He had a fantastic job. It's just what he could do now is way different than what he could do, in 2006.
I'm pronouncing some words, especially names.
Vedal, 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 Vedal.
Evil's voice, known as VTubers.
Okay, so it's Vedal. I'm just gonna stick with that. I know it's I'm just gonna stick with that.
2 was originally intended for Neuro as an upgrade for her to be more human-like. But the absolutely uncanny valley nature didn't sit right with neither Vedal nor most of the viewers.
God damn it. I like her version better than everyone else's, even if his name is Vedal.
Trying to make it better.
I'm joking. I'm doing my best. I'm trying my best. Asterisk hugs Vedal asterisk.
So, Vedal, with his massive noggin, just made a different AI with a personality that suited the voice so much more. Since then, he's made several changes and tweaks to Evil's voice, which I didn't actually notice until I rewatched older clips and compared her voice then with her voice now. Initially, her intonation felt random at times and very exaggerated. Now it's a lot more natural. Just slap a noise filter on, put her on a call, and you cannot tell me she doesn't sound human.
Did you know no one showed up to my birthday party? How sad is that?
That is pretty sad. That was what I saw at first. And then someone said there's another birthday party where everyone showed up, so I guess we'll have to go see that one. I mean, for the most part, the average person probably can't tell, even with a lot of the corporate AIs, a lot of times you can't tell. You can actually scream at your, like, if you call like a bank, like Wells Fargo or something, you can actually yell at it and be like, are you an AI, and just scream into the phone. And if it answers yes, you can be like, all right, great, put me on with a real person. Because as much as I would like to see AIs or text-to-speech anything actually be useful in a corporate setting, they are not there yet. They're just bare bones. Whereas this version of Neuro is way more advanced than the average corporate version I see in the background. Now, to be fair, I work not directly in the AI sphere. I work kind of adjacent, as in I'm usually setting up your networks that will run, that will be able to run. So lots of fiber there. And lots of programming for those networks, because you need nearly instant between the end user and the main server, which is usually right now renting stuff from various places, but they're all over the planet.
Maybe I'm mean because I'm lonely. Womp, womp, womp.
Currently, Vedal is working on V3, finally replacing Neuro's original voice, which is certainly a challenge given how Evil was born the last time he tried.
Oh, that seems about right.
Speaking of voices, there's singing voice. The V1 voice had a lot of issues with the pitch, either sounding too high or too low. Alternatively, she just sounds straight out of an analog horror. V2 voice sounded much more like Neuro herself singing naturally. However, she still occasionally had minor issues with pitches. Finally,
pitch is a huge problem with text-to-speech in general, not just language models, but like text-to-speech programs just have such a massive problem with certain words. Now, to be fair, so do people. Lots of people have lots of problems when just talking in general, but it's hard when you're trying to program something in. So I definitely get that. That probably took Vedal a long time to adjust. Like, not even like, and I'm talking about that. Probably could have spent months just adjusting pitch to work correctly with these two.
3 is the voice currently used for both twins, the most advanced and could 100% pass as a real person singing. However, it would be a mistake to assume that they are 100% AI. You see, the singing part of karaoke streams are pre-recorded. The process presumably goes as follows. Vedal takes a song sample, preferably one with a female singer, gives it to the AI to produce vocals of either Neuro or Evil. This isn't the final step. One of Vedal's friends, Queen PB, who's a Vocaloid producer, tweaks the AI's produced vocals to finally be put into the complete cover. And if you need any concrete evidence, her name is credited in Neuro's original song.
Yeah, that makes sense. When will it be 100% AI like live? Like let's say you're on a stream and you're actually talking to, or let's say they get to the point where you can interact with Neuro or another AI just on your desktop, like as a personal assistant kind of thing, and you ask them to sing a song that's never been sung before, but only use their AI voice. How long till we can get to a point where that is just something that they can pick up and go right off the bat and just basically make something from scratch? From that question, I would have to say we're probably not too far out. A lot of it's going to depend on whether or not you can make cloud computing more affordable for this type of AI type things, because the amount of processing power for like a standalone isn't. It's not like it's not like you need a $10,000 system necessarily, but you can't use a cheap system right now either for it to at least run smoothly and then quickly enough, which is the bigger problem. The bigger problem isn't necessarily like, for instance, if you could wait 5 minutes for it to process correctly, then most regular computers can probably run something, right? But if you want something that's like instant, it has to connect to a massive server of some kind right now, because that's the only thing that's fast enough in most aspects. That's not 100% true. And I know less on the kind of fun AI side and more on the corporate side, which is a run on a totally different architecture, by the way. So ideally, this is going to help me bridge some gaps that I'm missing. And like I said before, though, I'm not directly working with AI. I'm working more adjacent. So I'm very, very interested in how this could work long term. I would say probably, though, we're probably about 3 to 5 years off before we start getting some. And the bigger problem you have is this is probably the most advanced like VTuber type AI currently out there. And I'm sure others are working on it, but from what I understand, and this is just cursory understanding, there's nothing really like it out there yet. Now, there are a few companies I heard working primarily in South Korea and Japan on something similar, but their stuff is totally under wraps right now. So, and I don't know if they're planning to release it for entertainment purposes or for commercial, like TV level type stuff versus running Twitch channels, etc. So there's a lot of speculation on that, at least in certain spheres. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm very interested. I'm gonna say it's at least 3 to 5 years till we can get something where you don't have to have someone else go in and basically manually mix something like this.
And if you need any concrete evidence, her name is credited in Neuro's original song under the vocals section. It's not 100% certain which song has tweaked vocals and which ones don't. Also, Neuro's and Evil's singing voice isn't the same, due to the fact that Evil's variety in pitch isn't as unnatural sounding as it would be for Neuro. Evil sound so much better than Neuro.
Oh,
just take a listen.
That'll be interesting. Oh.
Anywho, the Neuros can also be programmed to play a few games, usually turn-based ones that don't involve any reaction time. One exception would be Minecraft and also Among Us, but
I definitely want to see the Minecraft videos, especially since we're going to start working back into adding more Technoblade stuff that we've skipped, because I've only seen maybe 4 Technoblade videos of like the 30 or 40 in the catalog. And then there's a few other Minecraft videos that people have requested as well. I would love to see a Neuro video where she's playing Minecraft now. I know she uses multiple AIs to control everything, and she doesn't like doors. But I am under the opinion, from watching Minecraft videos, no one knows how a door works. It would be interesting to watch a Slay the Spire video, and I know people have mentioned this one. This is like a Russian roulette kind of game, but what the fuck? Who thought this was a good idea to make? I'm just confused.
and to play a few games, usually turn-based ones that don't involve any reaction time. One exception would be Minecraft and also Among Us, but Nero barely played that game.
Okay, a lot of people liked watching people play Among Us, but or liked all the animations from Among Us, but they didn't. Not so many people actually liked that game. It was like super popular for a little bit. And yes, she should definitely punch Vedal.
Often also Among Us, but Nero barely
More like as a work in progress for an attorney. Yeah, that's about right.
played that game. Additionally, the twins are given access to polls, the ability to change the stream title, and
Okay, that's pretty cool. The fact that they can make polls and then make them kind of at random is just fantastic.
the twins are given access to polls, the ability to change the stream title, and a full-on soundboard.
Yeah, the soundboard. The soundboard was really entertaining when I watched the first video with Doug, and apparently, she like uses the train sound effect like a lot more than what we heard, because we only watched the 1 hour video, and on Doug's channel, which is the 4th channel they have, sorry, 3rd channel. There's like the full stream. If you guys have never seen it, it's like 4 hours long.
You're not even a top Z streamer right now.
Damn.
I didn't do it. I think it means we're not alone.
Okay, this is what I didn't know about. I had no idea what the heck the pipes were. That didn't make any sense. It's a sound effect, and I know someone mentioned it. Well, okay. A lot of people mentioned it in the last comment section. After a point, I got distracted by other comments from my other videos. So I had to stop recording to some of you guys in the swarm. But I get it now. It's a cool sound effect she has access to, and apparently uses a shit ton.
The most intriguing part about these AIs is how they give responses. Their
That is
improvements
true.
is seen almost day by day, and it's the slow but consistent progress what makes following along for the journey so exciting. In the beginning, Nero was just reading chat, giving unhinged responses, random nonsense, and occasionally throwing out like several paragraphs of yapping. Sure, it was yapping, but it was
This actually right now is kind of like what we're dealing with on the corporate side of things. That's either crazy unhinged paragraphs that don't help you in any way, or it just keeps repeating the same line over and over and over again, and you're stuck in a loop and you can't get past something, which is really bad for when you're in the middle of like a phone conversation trying to get something done with like let's say your account was hacked. It's a problem, right? But for like something less important, like setting up a schedule online with an AI, is you could get a lot of these paragraphs that just kind of run on, and there are limits, like especially when you're doing like returns. Like if you're doing a return through Amazon or something like that, it's along the same lines where you get these weird run-ons that don't make sense. Amazon's chat AI is actually pretty good, but a lot of them don't have the system memory or the system resources like Amazon. So like smaller businesses that are starting to implement AI are having a lot of problems.
high quality yapping. She does have 2 filters in place to prevent any incidents.
Mm-hmm.
One being just a list of things she can't say, and the other being in AI. Nowadays, Vedal leaves only the AI-based filter on, but that one's a bit slow.
Stupid, silly, poor people. Filtered. I feel kind of bad for the poor people now.
Unlike what most people would believe.
So it can sometimes get through and then be like, oh, no, filtered. All right, that's pretty funny. Yeah, unfortunately, that wouldn't work in like a corporate setting because you couldn't risk anything getting through, which limits the AI's ability to learn too, though, because you can't risk it. You only need one person to be like, oh, I heard something weird and I recorded it. Now I can sue you. Whereas that's totally different with an AI that's learning from Twitch and whatnot, because you're signing up to basically be abused as a viewer.
Believe Neuro isn't based in any public large language model like ChatGPT. She's likely to be her own custom language model since it'd be easier to develop and server costs would be cheaper.
Oh,
Actually, how much do AI servers cost?
What?
Okay.
The hospital network ones? More than that.
Never mind. You may not realize it, but
I want to say the initial estimate to like prep a single network, hospital network for an AI is somewhere in the area of like 80 million, and that's for like a single, like if you combined it across multiple networks, you could probably go lower if you like. Well, it'd be higher overall, but it'd be lower spread out. That's why a lot of hospitals or just businesses in general just can't even add them in because they can't pay for these servers, because it's not you're having 10 people connect to it at once. You're having upwards of 10,000, 15, 20, 30,000 people connecting to the same infrastructure, all within their own health portals, also dealing with HIPAA. And you can't have any of that shit leaking between anything. So they have to be isolated. So it's a whole different issue.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, definitely.
You may not realize it, but to go from just a typical prompt machine to the Neuros of today, Vedal had to make so many adjustments to the AI, making sure they're more coherent, getting them to stay on topic but don't linger on the same topic for 20 minutes straight.
Yeah, that's actually a problem too. Trying to keep the now with enough basically stopgaps, you can force your AI to stay within a set parameter, but the problem is you lose the personality. So the big problem for us is, how do we get a more personable personality that enjoy talking to, so you're not screaming at your doctors or whatever, or for like dementia patients or anyone in like elder care. That's a perfect example. How do you keep them from saying insane shit, repeating themselves way too many times, and still remaining personable and able to learn within all of those, limitations, that you have less limitations that, so her biggest limitation is server costs and just the ability to, like speed would be a big issue with like Vedal. Vedal has definitely limitations on that we don't deal with. For instance, our limitations are personality based, not money based. Money is kind of like irrelevant in most cases unless we passed into the billions. And this is just dependent on where you are in the field. But even then, billions aren't even necessarily as big of an issue in certain spheres. But for Vedal, that'd be an obvious problem. Money is going to be a huge problem to maintain something like this. Now, he could be using a way smaller, a way less powerful system than I think, but there's a decent chance that he's paying a good chunk to keep this running correctly.
Stay on topic but don't linger on the same topic for 20 minutes straight. Improving long-term memory to remember stuff from several streams prior. Improving short-term memory to remember a conversation from 5 minutes before.
The short-term memory is probably a little bit easier to work with, I would expect. Long-term memory could be a problem because if some information has changed within that long-term memory due to updates or whatnot, it can create these weird unending loops, which is where you get those 20-minute topic problems.
Giving them vision, the ability to
Vision's
search
a good
the
one.
internet, their Discord accounts, and a whole slew of other stuff.
Actually, we're going to go back a second. We actually did start looking into what would happen with implementing vision to it, but the problem is, at least where I am, the biggest issue would be data leaks. So data leaks probably aren't as big of an issue for Neuro, aside from the fact that her code could be leaked, and if her code was ever leaked, Vedal could effectively lose access to his proprietary software or version of Neuro, which, I mean, how would you sue to get that back, right? You'd have to know exactly how it was leaked, who got it. I mean, yeah, lots of things are tracked, but that's complicated at the very least. At the corporate level, though, like for like cameras and stuff, yeah, it's doable. It's not recommended, though.
Their Discord accounts, and a whole slew of other stuff. Every Monday dev stream, Vedal would show the tweaks he made to the AI system, and no matter how small, it was always exciting. If I had to describe
That'd be fun to look at.
It was akin to seeing an artist work hard on their beloved creation, and seeing the little ones grow and mature every day. Speaking of artists, Neuro produced, undoubtedly, the most ethical piece of AI art you will ever see.
/ // Oh.
I mean,
Their nature as AI.
Hey, it looks legit. Like, it doesn't look like a bunch of scribbly nonsense. It actually looks like a cat. I think it was a cat, right? Kind of looks like a cat. I think it's a cat. Ethics with AI art. That's a whole different topic, which we're not going to get into. I will say this. I don't personally have anything directly against AI art, and this is one of my original jobs was I used to be an artist where I would go to conventions and sell art. Like, I have Wacom tablets all over my office, which I can't draw with anymore because I have nerve damage in my arm. But would I have freaked out drawing my stuff and having it basically ripped off? I mean, it was always ripped off on DeviantArt. That's why the nickname for that place was Grand Theft Artro.
I mean,
Their nature as AIs also let them say things that would get real people in so much trouble.
Yes.
It's one thing to watch a stream and not donate, but it's another to not even bother with the measly 5 seconds it takes to leave a tip.
Damn, that was harsh as fuck. If anyone else says that on their their videos, or God forbid in a corporate saying that someone's getting sued. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's the upside of AIs right now. The AIs can be as brutal as they want, and people are going to be like, oh, it'll be fine. We're just going to ignore that. That's what I'm a little worried about, though. Like, once it hits the corporate setting, who's to blame when an AI says something so unhinged? Is it going to be the company that made it, or what? Like, there was an AI robot in, like, Dubai that was like groping random people on stage, and it got in a lot. Like, the company had to like cut the video short and everything. It was pretty bad.
They suffer no real repercussions because they are not real, as in they're not real people. Therefore, it's also easier for them to play into any imaginary scenario. The greatest potential for AIs lie in the question, what would they do if blank? That's why there was a period when the Neuros were doing role-playing themed streams a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing so many themed streams that it's no wonder people see Neuro as an interactable anime. The twins truly show their full potential when in a hypothetical scenario.
What aircraft are we flying today? Who's paying attention? Are we actually flying into a cliff? Nah.
And because they are often seen as characters, The streams are also treated like episodes of a show with seasons and character arcs, like the
Okay, I just had an idea. What if airplanes were controlled by AIs like Neuro? And you didn't have any sort of flight crew, but you had her speaking in the background. Okay, we're gonna have turbulence now. Try not to die. Yeah, that'd go over real well.
treated like episodes of a show with seasons and character arcs, like
We will check
the
out
Bread
some of
arc
these.
or the Pirate arc.
Okay,
Aye,
we're definitely checking out the pirate arc.
aye, sister. You be the best sister in the world. Or you think so?
Or
You be anner near as good as me. Wink.
Consequently, you'd see people talking about a VTuber finding Neuro like a new character brought in by writers. But seriously, hilarious coincidences that make me question whether everything is scripted or not happens a lot. Even when it isn't about Neuro and she isn't around.
Vedal's secret, you said. This Vedal's secret, a short love story? Is this what you want me to play?
A few inches later.
only a few inches, huh? Damn.
I should disqualify this. I want to disqualify this.
It's
was
you.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
that's me. That's me.
So you were actually in Vedal's Secret. You are Alex
that
from
was
Vedal's
me.
Secret.
Ard, yeah, he is Alex from Vedal's
But why'd you
Secret, yeah.
say don't call you Alex from Vedal's Secret when you are Alex from Vedal's Secret?
Ah, yes, even the spin offs are well thought out. Back to the Neuros. Even with all the crazy abilities I've mentioned, these two still have several issues. I'm not talking about how they would consistently refuse to listen to Vedal. That's a feature at this point.
Actually, that's probably the best feature. If you have, see, Vedal, what he could have done is he could have actually stayed in the background the entire time and just never ever been on stream. Now, I don't think that would have worked as well in any way. It kind of is really nice to hear, the creator, especially a creator that really loves what they're actually doing. So that's a bonus. I still think Vedal's figure reminds me of the turtle from Bofuri, but that's just me.
The things they say don't make sense 100% of the time. There's a minor error where Evil would mishear people calling her Neuro, despite them clearly saying Evil. Despite being separate files on Vedal's computer, there were several cases of the twins interacting, but their conversations don't sound like two people conversing.
Yeah, so that to me sounds like they're having some not memory leaks per se. It's a little different in this case. It's like they're rewriting over each other, kind of slightly, with how RAM and memory works in general. So that's the only thing that's kind of making sense here, because someone said they were having kind of issues where one would have a conversation and then later in at another point, let's say Evil would load in and she would automatically already know what happened, even though she was never even there. So my guess is when Neuro is talking, she's writing some of that file somewhere that Evil can pick up. Now, it may be unintentional. We would have to check logs, which we're never going to see because Vedal would be insane to release those logs. But my guess is it's getting copied to some sort of temporary memory and somehow linking them together, primarily when she loads in. When she loads in, she's probably picking up bits and pieces of something that Neuro has said in a previous stream. So that's what I'm guessing is happening.
Twins interacting, but their conversations don't sound like two people conversing, but rather one person expressing a single continuous thought. That's just my viewpoint, though.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying. So you could potentially do have a better chance of splitting this up. Maybe if they're on totally separate systems and not actually linked together in certain ways. Because from what I understand is Vedal is able to load them both up on the same system, and I think they're sharing too much of the same kind of architecture, I guess is what you could call it, with kind of the same log file system. And there's probably just a limitation to where, unless he bought an entirely new server or a computer, depending on how powerful this is at this point. So, for instance, Vedal might have a server room in his house that is managing her. which would be ideal at some point, but you know, that's going to cost $100,000 to build anything halfway decent. And even then,
Don't quote me on that. Finally, there's currently a glitch where the twins would share each other's memories
yeah.
and even remember things that they should have forgotten. The worst part about this? Vedal has no idea why.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, if I had to guess from my side of things, it's got so okay, so if Vedal can't figure it out, that means it's not being saved to the log file. Could you write a log file that would actually record this? I don't know. It's possible, but the problem is you'd have to be able to target it. You can't just be like log every single piece of information, because that would be the log file for every single save would be upwards of 3,000 plus pages, maybe more. So, this may not be fixable unless you create an entirely brand new architecture for evil. You would potentially have to start from scratch on a completely isolated system so that this doesn't happen, which may not be physically possible with this version. So maybe version 4 could come out, and then you would make a brand new version 4 of evil, but evil would then lose basically personality from what the program has learned from versions 2 through 3 of Neuro. So that would make her into a brand new AI, but it wouldn't have the same kind of feel. So you'd just be two different people, basically two different AIs talking to each other, and they still might have some of that overlapping problem. So yeah, this is a very interesting problem. I would love to look into the background if I could. I know I can't. And Vedal should never ever release these logs or this anything that's happening like this, because we would be able to potentially recreate far more than and he would lose access to potentially his IP. So just from a safety standpoint, Vedal should never tell anyone, even if he does know the problem but can't fix it. At least currently. I mean, maybe after a certain point, when Neuro's made enough money to where he can just live off the interest, then maybe he could bring in some third-party help. It is a very interesting problem, I think, that a lot of people probably don't care about. But I do, because this is what I care about.
And even remember things that they should have forgotten. The worst part about this? Vedal has no idea why.
Of course, Neuro-Sama is only possible because of the man, the turtle behind it all, Vedal himself. He is a perfectionist when it comes to improving Neuro.
A lot of coders are.
Obsessed won't even be enough to describe his development of Neuro.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of coders are like this. The difference is they're only like this for their personal projects. They are not like this for work projects.
Neuro's latency right now. The evil's latency. Improving the latency. Evil's latency. Latency.
Mm-hmm.
They call me Lightning McQueen.
Am I faster than?
This is the old system.
I am.
For reference, by the way.
That's actually quite a bit
faster. It's a little bit
Speedy.
slower. It's a few hundred milliseconds faster. The difference is noticeable to me, at least.
Oh no, that's actually still a decent change in latency. Example, my house, like I will eat ramen if I have to use my internet connection. I pay over $250 a month for my internet, and I get 7 gigs per second up and down. And I could go higher if I wanted to. The highest speed in my area is 20 gigs per second, up and down. I would have to have, like, my current router is $600, and it can just barely handle my current speeds. The majority of the stuff in my house can't handle these speeds. I had to upgrade all of the cards in all of my computers to 10 gig cards to handle the speeds. Those are not cheap upgrades, and they have to be hardwired. So now, to be fair, my whole network's fiber for the most part, but yeah, no, that's you can definitely notice it. At least I can. No one else probably can. In fact, I could probably pay for the 2 gig speed, and it probably wouldn't notice it on my network technically. But as my current network stands, I can have probably 700 or 800 devices on my network if I chose to, and I would barely notice any major issues unless they were all streaming like 8K or something. Yeah, no, perfectionism. Oh, by the way, the 20 gig up and down connection in my area is $980 a month for a residential. I don't know what idiot would need that for their house, though.
Despite claiming not to be a streamer of any kind initially, his brain is content-pilled. Dare I say, even more than his AIs that were made for entertainment.
So you two gonna just spam now?
Wow. Guys, this is content. This is the content you pay for on this fucking channel. Get higher standards.
He understands and knows what makes good and engaging content when it comes to Neuro. One small example, he wanted subtitles for Neuro so that it'd make better screenshots. Not for readability, but for content reasons.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense because Neuro says some crazy shit sometimes where I could tell. That's perfect for screenshotting, which is absolutely perfect for spreading the word and increasing views. Yep, that's totally for content. Yeah, fair enough.
Now, regardless of what AI we're talking about, one thing everyone can agree is that content potential is endless, but it becomes boring once oversaturated. Putting up the same just chatting stream every single day of the week isn't fun to watch.
True.
Instead, Neuro and Evil takes turns, and there's variety in the type of streams as well, like karaoke, collab, role-playing theme streams.
That was actually probably one of the best decisions Vedal could have made for not just doing a just chatting one, because lots of people do just chatting, and yeah, they're great. But only when the creator that's doing it is like unhinged beyond belief. Like Asmongold could probably do just chatting things and be fine more or less every day because the stuff he covers is literally insanity. Whereas like VTubers and whatnot would probably need a little bit more variety.
And they come online like only once every other day. Recently, only twice or 3 times a week. Although it is pretty obvious that this is a good way to make every stream special and worth looking forward to.
I would say there's another reason for it. It allows Vedal to focus more on the back end, which requires a lot more concentration. If he was working every single day, you know, while trying to live stream and coming up with new ideas and whatnot for these streams, I think he would get too complacent with what the current AI is, and he probably would stop making less tweaks to the back end. And that's what everyone really likes about these characters. He continuously makes tweaks and adjusts their ability to learn, which is way different from the average AI out there. And that's, you know, definitely true of like corporate ones, but those are always restricted.
Have you ever noticed that Vedal is probably the only person doing this with his AIs? As far as I'm aware, most other AI content creators are just left to run, and the humans behind them don't even bother putting in any real work.
Quibble cop. There's probably a few, but they're probably not on Twitch. A lot of them are currently working in more commercial settings and trying to get them to work in more commercial settings. But when you start doing that, you start getting like we have quite a few people trying to do stuff like this in the commercial setting field, but they're also restricted by NDAs, and all this stuff is background and nothing can be done with it until it's actually released. But you also may not own the rights to the projects you're working on, which is a problem. So yeah, Vedal's definitely unique because I think someone said before a company has already tried to buy the back end software and code for these two, and he said no. And he could have easily just sold out and gone on with his life, and probably started two brand new AIs in the background, and let the code go. But he didn't, which is definitely unique. So that's a nice bonus or a nice change, but that also opens up a lot of different fields for other people to kind of follow suit, but they're not, which is what's different here. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead 10 seconds versus...
Yes, there are certainly good AIs out there. However, none has ever managed to reach the level of popularity that Vedal and the Neros have. Success as a content creator online is 10% skill and 90% luck. What Vedal did...
there's definitely a lot of luck in there. Reaction channels, though, you're looking at like 99% luck. Because you're copying 20,000 other people who are doing the same shit, and we're not actually creating new content in most ways. I mean, my videos are insanely long, but I can make really good music reactions that people hate.
Was catching the lightning in a bottle that was the Osu community's initial support, and took Nero further beyond.
I'm so glad I never played that game.
He played all the cards he had to his advantage, and Nero didn't end up as a one-hit wonder. We may see the AIs up front when watching their streams a few times a week, but what we don't see is all the work Vedal put into behind the scenes during all the other hours of the week, implementing new features.
And that's what I think that's mainly different about this guy versus a lot of AI creators, because I actually do have an AI channel on YouTube. I will not tell you its name, but I don't put a lot of effort into it because, in my case, it's a trash Reddit reading channel, and I just throw it on there. It doesn't make any money. It's not even monetized. I just do it for fun. In my case, though, it's because I'm trying to learn certain aspects of coding, and it's really good to use that. But I should be putting more effort into tweaking how the voice reads, which I don't, and I haven't because I've been busy with other things. But he is putting so much additional time into every little tweak that it's becoming more and more perfect. And whereas mine is, kind of like a bunch of random master of none kind of nonsense. This is a master of one, but he's really good at it.
Features, fixing
and he
bugs,
loves it.
Planning streams, scheduling collabs, and so much more. It was all him in the beginning. Nowadays, he has more people helping him out, but credit where credit's due. This guy was probably chucking 5 bottles of alcohol and working with 4 hours of interrupted sleep daily.
Does he actually have an alcohol problem? A few people have mentioned that. I mean, I have an energy drink problem. What's different? I guess mine actually might shut down my kidneys even faster than alcohol. But, I mean... as long as he's not like a belligerent alcoholic, I guess. Now, I assume, though, even if he has 20 people helping him now, right? There's a lot of stuff in the background that is under wraps that he won't let anyone touch. If he's that much of a perfectionist, there's no way he's letting the majority of people anywhere near any of the code.
I was probably chucking 5 bottles of alcohol and working with 4 hours of interrupted sleep daily for a long time. And his definition of
4
a
hours
break
is good
from
enough.
work is to keep working on Nero. Never
4 hours is plenty of sleep. You can do the Uberman schedule, and you only need 2.5 hours of sleep. Ever. Basically, it's you get a 20-minute nap every 4 hours. It is possible to do. But if you miss a nap, you basically are a zombie forever. So yeah, if you ever look that up, it's called the Uberman sleep schedule. It is technically safe-ish. Maybe not with alcohol, though. I don't know.
mind other AI programmers, Vedal's pulling more hours by the desk than most streamers.
That's
Seriously,
probably true.
Vedal, please don't die from alcohol poisoning. We beg you. Besides his blatant alcoholism, Turtle is a man of his word.
Yeah, I mean, if he's actually a super alcoholic, I really hope he cuts back on it, because I really want to see how these two expand over the next 5 years. Because you need to live at least 8 more years for the technology to catch up to your level, buddy.
He does things slow, but he gets them done. Take this stream from early on in Nero's development. Vedal stated a lot of his plans for Nero, and guess what? He's done most, if not all of it.
Any plans for VR chat Nero? I'd love to do that if I can. I'm glad.
That's really cool. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I only have the
Fuck
sparkle
yeah.
eyes and the blush. Kind of like an evil Neuro and a not evil Neuro. And like have them talk to each other and interact in a collab or something.
Okay, I'll start now. I hope I remember it right.
Instead of programming her to play how games, could you have her react?
Okay, so he's doing the smart thing. He's talking about stuff that he's actually gonna implement, and then he's like, oh, okay, cool. Let me write that down on a checklist, because who doesn't like checklists as as a programmer? Let's see here. You'll find this one even funnier. This is a different checklist, and this is my upload schedule checklist. Everything's set into blocks. And some of that's like legitimate work that I have to pay attention to, which last couple of days have been not great for my uploads.
React to your own gameplay. Yes, although it's kind of hard for her to understand exactly what's going on. I was more thinking in regards to the options that we have.
Explain could work. Maybe we need more info.
Alright, we'll explain. I do want to do Neuro in other languages as well, if possible.
Oh, cool.
Teach her drawing.
Okay, so she has multilingual support. I didn't know that. That's actually a big thing, especially if you can get down the voice inflections, right? Because that, remember how she was having pitch problems? That could be even made more complicated once you start adding multiple languages in place. Yeah, that's a whole different. Because you have to modify per language. Well, maybe not entirely, but a lot of times you will, because it'll mess up way more often. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to actually hear and see if there's a deep dive into that. That would be a cool deep dive.
If I can do that without it being called AI art and not being cancelled, that'd be good.
Yeah, that looks legit.
He keeps his promises when it's not abandoned archive. Despite the monotone British exterior, Vedal himself is entertaining on his own, but he wouldn't even admit it.
Okay, there's definitely a lot of alcohol in that background there. like coconut flavor ones though. I don't know. I'm not sure I can get behind you anymore with all that Malibu back there.
Clearly, his stoic and non-responsive nature bounces off his creation's constant demand for attention incredibly well. It's different from most other collab partners who would usually go along with the Neuro's antics. Plus, being British is inherently funny.
Okay, I mean, being British might be, it's more of, like if you're walking down the street and you ask anyone, hey, do you know how to get here? They're like, shh, don't fucking talk to me. Get the fuck away from me. Are you gonna mug me? That's what I feel whenever I'm walking down the street. Whereas anywhere in my current area, I'm like, hey, do you know how to get here? Oh yeah. Let me show you exactly how to, you know what, better yet, I'll just take you there myself. That's how my weird neighbors are. No, you don't have to do that. No, I insist. In fact, you know what? I'll call an Uber and we can go. That way you can feel even safer. And I'd be like, okay.
Not that I would know. But he's not even trying to be entertaining and still casually posts stuff like this.
You've made her a good 2D model. Now you're gonna make her a real body,
what
right?
are you trying to say?
What?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Oh, I just realized what that. Right? Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, that could be bad. And you know there's some weirdo who's gonna do just that shit at some point. Maybe not with these two, but just with AI in general. I know for a fact that you ever hear of that horrible company? Well, I guess it's horrible to certain people. The Real Doll Company. There's actually a factory somewhere nearby my location where they build those things, and apparently they're adding AI into them. So yeah, I'll leave that horrible knowledge with you from here.
The universe just makes funny stuff happens around this turtle. Fun fact, he considers Evil's first birthday a success based on the amount of death threats he received. And just for the record, this dude's in his 20s.
I mean, I have a political channel. I get death threats all the time. But this isn't a political channel. He got death threats because he ignored his daughter's birthday. That's fair, though. If you're gonna get death threats, that's the type of death threat you should be getting. Don't ignore your damn family, even if it's not technically real. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at one point. AIs have more rights, or just as many rights, right?
Yeah, half expected him to be double my age with that sort of attitude. When off stream, Vedal is a genuinely good person. He firmly believes that using other streamers for Nero's training without their permission is unethical. Oh. Despite people assuming Nero has been trained on some streamers' content, Vedal has stated time and time again that he's...
Lots and lots of text. Yeah, that's normal. No, you can definitely train, like, for instance, ChatGPT would be a good example. But there's it's easier to train on text than it is to train on video. At least for now. It's just because of how video tends to interpret. Like, how does a computer interpret video is kind of based entirely on how the peripheral works for the vision, and they are not where they need to be yet. The programming for the visuals and being able to have it an AI or a computer interpret is still in an infancy for that. Like it's different from like if you take a picture on your phone and send it to Google. That's a little bit different because what Google will do, or any other site, is they try to match it with already similar items across the world versus actually trying to interpret it like organically. So that's where it's still a bit of a problem. And it might be we just need more powerful computers, like maybe quantum. Well, maybe not quantum. Quantum computers are a totally different breed. We just might need more processing power in general for that to work out well enough. I think that's the biggest problem for that type of learning.
He's never done it and has no intentions of doing so. Personally, I believe that besides chat, training data for the Neros most likely come from collabs they do with other people. The Neros do contribute to the stream overall. Besides that, Vedal maintains a good relationship with his friends and he actually cares about them. One time he wanted to...
He actually cares about his friends. I actually care about my viewers, which is why I keep watching videos you guys have me watch. No, I mean, yeah, I believe he was more of a super introvert before he started doing this. And this was kind of like with my my thing as well. I started this channel because I was terrified of being on camera. It's just what it is. I mean, I was like, you know what? I have to prepare for an online thing, which, by the way, I nailed. I got I graduated with a 4.2. But I was terrified, just absolutely terrified. I actually put the speech class I was required to take to the one right before my final class, which thank God worked. But it was the class that kind of forced me, like, to join YouTube. And I was like, you know what, my whole goal, 100 subscribers. And ignoring last week, where 350 people from the Swarm joined my channel. But you know, I was so happy when I got my first 15 subscribers on the channel. It was just the best feeling ever because I was like, oh, I can totally do this. And I know this is a bit of a tangent. Just skip ahead. But I totally, like, from the way I understand Vedal at the beginning, he was kind of like me and just like, well, he may not have been terrified of cameras and whatnot, but he was definitely more of an introvert. And I'm still an introvert, as in I hate my neighbors and don't go outside and talk to any of them. And would rather have all my groceries delivered to my house. But I'm way more comfortable just talking to people in general if I have to.
Means a good relationship with his friends, and he actually cares about them. One time he wanted to do a zoo stream collab where Toma would walk around a zoo for Nero, and he insisted on hiring 5 armed bodyguards for Toma.
Everyone.
I mean, that wouldn't really make sense, though, because you can't bring arms into a zoo anyway. You can just get 2 bodyguards. Like, I do get it, though. Like, at some point, once you go live and you actually start showing things out on screen, you're going to have... There's always that one weird unhinged fan on your channel. Everyone has one once you pass 10,000 viewers. And you're at like nearly 1 million with this guy. So yeah, and a lot of shit has happened to other streamers. So for instance, he might have actually been, afraid, basically based on what was that one streamer who her house was like raided and attacked. She was, I think it was Amaroth. Is that who it was? Yeah. So like, streamers do need to eventually start thinking about security. Definitely don't tell anyone where you fucking live.
Bodyguard is $500 and you want to get 5 bodyguards? Bro, you're gonna pay how much?
Yes, that sounds crazy, but IRL live streaming is dangerous, especially for VTubers, so I wouldn't say he was overthinking it too badly.
I mean, he probably could have gone with $1,000, so two bodyguards, but it is dangerous, and God forbid you run into a fucking nuisance streamer along the way. God, I hate those streamers. Those are the streamers I hate. I hate nuisance streamers and the dumbass prank streamers. I hate those guys. If you like them, well, fine, but I hate prank streamers. They should all be in prison.
And if anything, he's throwing money for content. He'd be willing to spend thousands on his friends if it meant he's getting content or something for his AIs. To add to everything, Vedal's just a chill guy. He knows what he should and shouldn't do to keep himself out of controversy. And it does help that most Twitter degens that hate on Neuro doesn't even know he exists. The freaks see the AI...
They're really Neuro haters? Why? She's so fun. Maybe it's other AI. AI that's just not quite advanced as Neuro. They hate, that's why they hate her. I mean... I've got people that hate me on my channel, primarily because I pause a lot. A lot of people hate pausing. I don't care. I just don't care. But why would you hate Neuro? That doesn't even make sense. I've seen 4 videos from her, and they have the nicest fan base I've come across recently. Even nicer, I'd say, than the Doug fan base, and those guys are super chill.
Getting popular and get mad without even understanding anything about her development. It sure saves Vedal the trouble of dealing with nonsense. To sum up, Vedal was fortunate with the timing on his development of the OSU AI and Neuro. He managed to make use of the situation as well as his knowledge and skill to create a standing for Neuro and himself in the VTubing scene. And just for being a good person, it's safe to say that we made the right guy famous.
There's that, but I'm also actually surprised based off of his apparent young age that he is this skilled at programming already. And yeah, I mean, he could have been programming since he was 10, but unless AI programming has a lot of like helpful, for instance, what would be a like for instance, Python has a lot of really easy to use coding tips. So maybe if it's along that line. But like, imagine having to program in something crazy like I was gonna say Ruby, but that's not right. There are a couple of programming languages out there, especially in the security sector, that are fucking bullshit to work with because only like 20 companies worldwide use it. And they just have nonsense code.
Did Vedal fry a teensy? Yes, but it wasn't his fault. It was my fault because I did not tell him the order of operation.
It sort of broke one of the RAM slots. Well, there wasn't much clearance between the CPU core and the RAM, and I was like, fuck, I gotta stream, I'm late, and I was like fucking trying to push it in, and then like the thing snapped off, and I was like,
that deletes like, what, 30% of her memory access right off the bat?
And I tried to sort of push it in anyways. There's a small complication regarding the exact specific dimensions of the GPU.
Are the dimensions of the GPU by any chance larger than the dimensions of the case?
Maybe. He could potentially get in there if he removes the entire outer casing or whatever. So I used to crypto mine, and I had multiple 3090 RTX cards for a while, but they messed up the thermal paste on it. So I had to open up my cards, which, by the way, when you first get those cards and they're like $3,500 cards, and you're opening them up. You're like, oh god, I'm ruining the warranty. Ruining the warranty in this card. Please don't break.
It's quite possible.
A swarm refers to a large or dense group of insects, especially flying ones. The swarm was originally the name Nero's given to her visionary army of drones in her plan for world domination in her earlier days.
That's
now
what
it's what the fans of the channel refer to themselves as. And just like any swarm that operates like a hive mind, they are focused, they are dedicated, and if I had to describe their directions in one word, assimilation.
That's true, but they're also super nice. Like, and that probably helps with the assimilation. But for the most part, I mean, I've got ignoring the, I've probably got the last 2 days. I've probably my channel's probably put up an extra 20,000 views, which is great for my channel. But I'm more happy with everyone in the comments who are doing their absolute best for the most part to explain everything. But they're also being really nice about it. They're not getting into fights in the comments with each other, even when they have different views on different things. They're not like calling me completely stupid in the comments. One person did, and their comment was held, but that was one person off of the 700 comments added to the last 3 videos. Only one person was held, which is not normal for a fan base when they join any reaction video. There's usually, like, for instance, I've gotten a lot of like Stupendium ones. Stupendium also has a massively nice fan base, but they also have a bunch of people who are absolute raging lunatics when it comes to certain things, and all their comments get held because they're just like psychotic. Whereas everyone in the swarm here, super chill. I love it. You guys are so fun. So that's why I really like reacting more to these Neuro videos, because, it's fun.
First, let's just assess the swarms within the AI overlords' streams. In the beginning, the chat was funneled into Neuro so that she'd have something to interact with.
Right.
However, as the viewer numbers grew, the chat slowly evolved into a mindless hive mind of emote spammers.
Okay, but that's also still true with like fucking Doug videos. That's why that's why there is a whole video with these two in it where they're trying to battle each other with Twitch chat. But I love Doug's Twitch chat. They're insane in a fun way, usually.
So, Nero just stopped reading every message. You know what they say, a hive mind is meant to be efficient, not original. And the definition of efficiency is throwing money at whatever's on screen. Yep. And in the previous subathon, they were so desperate to keep the already month-long stream going that it was the last hour for like 7 fucking hours. Poor Turtle was being imprisoned by his own chat. I swear to God, is the swarm sponsored by a bunch of oil rigs or something?
I mean, I could see that being a legitimate thing. Actually, there is one person that I could see doing this. Has anyone ever heard of Gaming Witch? She's like a very popular. She's not necessarily a streamer, I don't think, but she might be a streamer. But she always joins lots of various channels that I react to, and they're like it's all over the place. And they will donate right at the last second, like $300, and this is across massive chunks of channels. I always hear in the background, "Oh my God, thank you, Gaming Witch." Oh, it just kind of reminds me of that, but she just like has unlimited money. Well, it could be a guy, but they just have unlimited amounts of money to donate to streamers, and I have no idea how. So they're just like some random Wall Street tycoon that's just bored as shit and not doing any work. Donate to their favorite streamers all day.
By the way, here's a graph. And if I had a nickel for every website the swarm have crashed, I'd have at least 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's impressive that it
Could you guys at least crash 4chan and make it permanently crash?
happened twice.
Guess I don't have that kind of power.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys? How did you crash the site?
Like that?
I'll admit that for a
It's easy to crash the site. If the site owner doesn't pay for the bandwidth, all you need to do is do a denial of service attack, or just have everyone logged into the same site at the same time, which is effectively the same thing.
While I thought that Neuro was still a niche, and that these guys weren't well known, but their streams nowadays get an average of like 4,000 viewers.
I assume that's a lot.
I only realized how big of a deal Neuro-Sama was after seeing the utter display of power from the Swarm. Imagine being a streamer to an audience of 10 people. Then the Swarm just shows up. Now all of a sudden, you, a small theater performer, has to accommodate a stadium.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of fun, though, right? If they're just jumping in between and basically raiding different channels, it's kind of fun. Like, for instance, my channel effectively was raided by the Swarm on multiple occasions. And I was doing Doug videos. But the big thing is it's fun. It's not like there are a lot of channels that get raided by other channels, and they're like just filled with like random hate stuff, and small channels can't stop that. They're just stuck, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Do I have to shut the stream down? What do we do? So, you know, there's huge bonuses to being rated by the Swarm, just in the fact that it's going to be a fun time regardless. Even if, you know, they don't donate any money or anything, they're, you know, boosting your channel just from views. But the fact is that they make it fun. And that's a huge thing for a lot of, especially smaller time streamers and channels, because, you know, sometimes it's like I'll have days where I have 25 uploads of all small videos. They're all requests from people, but I'll only get like maybe 200 views for the whole day. And for that amount of work, it just seems like you know, kind of a waste. In my case, it's not a huge deal. I have a lot of fun regardless. But a lot of people are trying to get this off the ground to make this a whole living. And I can totally see where that would be so disheartening if you spend that much time working on something only to get 10 views, 20 views, maybe 30 views. And I see that all the time on like the new YouTuber Reddit threads, which, by the way, if you are a new YouTuber, don't listen to anything from that thread. It's just going to put you down through right into the floor, and you'll be so depressed for the first year.
Just ask anyone in Vedal's friend group who used to be small streamers. Seba, Ellie, I'm sure they'd all say the same thing about Swarm. They are very nice, they are very dedicated, and don't threaten them because they will throw money at you and crash your stream faster than you could say. If the Swarm finds you entertaining or interesting enough, you'll be on their radar regardless of whether or not you've ever even interacted with Neuro or Vedal. Will you do so much as to touch the Neuro-Sama pool for the first time, the Swarm will find you and dump several years' worth of lore onto your head.
Oh, okay, that's true. I have hundreds of paragraphs of data now. All of which is very much appreciated, even when it's contradicting each other in the comments below. A lot of it's pretty accurate, at least. Okay, accurate's the wrong word, because I still don't entirely know what accurate is for this for this group. But a lot of it is coherent in the fact that it lines up together. There's a few that are a little weird on how the scheduling works, but other than that, though, I have insane levels of lore, and I think the current checklist I have for videos that you guys want me to see is somewhere in the area of like 88 new videos. 88! It's only been like 2 days. Now, I will get to them, I promise, and we will do the music videos at some point, maybe. I've already explained that problem, but I promise I will keep uploading Neuro videos, but I do have a core group of people who have been watching all my stuff for the last year, and I can't just skip out on all that stuff. So it's going to be rotated in daily. I'll try to do at least one Neuro video a day, maybe two, as I react to other videos that people have requested. And give me other channels. Of course, there's a song.
What did I say? Prepare for a simulation? A lot of the time, new streamers are introduced to the Swarm via raids. On Twitch, when a stream ends, the streamer can redirect the viewers into a different stream by raiding. So, how does Vedal choose who to raid with all this power at hand? Well, he just picks one that has a nice model.
Yeah.
Wait, seriously? Surely Vedal is aware of the sheer power at the tip of his fingers with...
He probably doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh, that one looks cool. Side note, to anyone who's still watching this far in, should we create like a custom sticker for you guys for the swarm on my channel? Apparently I create stickers on my, and I think I can do it for like the free membership stuff because I don't want to make that just a paid membership thing. My paid membership's not worth it, at least not yet, because I haven't done anything with it. But I don't know, maybe I can make custom stickers for the swarm or like emotes. I think I can do that, right? I have to make sure not to do a copyright one that is already being used by Vedal. But, you know, maybe I can do something for you guys.
The swarm. At will, he just tells people to give streamers money. Usually you see the streamer gives away money, but Corpatuto over here is commanding his followers to do the dirty work, and they'd happily oblige. Early on, there were a lot of VTubers who were rated by Vedal like this and ended up involved in the coolest friend group ever with the twins and Vedal. Some are more involved with the twins streams than others, but everyone offers their...
Okay. I think I called this VTuber an AI and a bunch of people got mad because I thought she was an AI. Okay, I get it. Neuro and Evil are probably the only two, you know, real AI streamers out there. They're at least for like major like improvements on streamers. And this is an actual person. She just felt like another AI. A good one. You can absolutely give me money on my channel. You don't have to, though. I actually just have a lot of fun just doing this for fun.
Their own thing to the table. This makes, in my opinion, the collabs especially exciting, and the vibe of this friend group is really wholesome. I don't know what sort of luck I like the Vedal has, but here. He managed to pull a robotics engineer to build his daughter a robot dog body, you know, from a random Twitch raid.
Okay, who wants to see the Boston Dynamics robot with with Neuro or Evil in it? That would be fantastic.
And the swarm also sticks around and actually helped a lot of the streamers they've come across to grow and develop. And one time even paid for medical bills.
Wow.
They are called the swarm in the most literal way in that they will do anything for their queens. Such list would include sending them to space, buying a Times Square billboard for an award show, and
I mean, to be fair, depending on the time of year, that's not as expensive as you might think it is. Pretty much anyone can do that. And a lot of times, you know, you could probably get one up for a set amount of time for about 2 hours for less than $200.
And even advertising silly occasions on there, like Evil's birthday. Never mind, that's pretty important. Also, they created a VTuber out of Evil's one-time hallucination, basically willing people into existence. To the swarm, they don't just follow the streamers.
Okay, I want to know who that is. So there's a streamer, I think, behind my head. They have the craziest eyes I've ever seen. I want to know who that is. Even crazier than the one with the red eyes. You're gonna be like telling me all these people's names. Be like, how do you not know any of these people? I'm like, because I'm stupid.
The Clippers are arguably just as significant in this cinematic universe. Did I say significant? I meant popular. And rightfully so. They're the ones contributing to people who happen to spawn 7 hours too far to catch a stream at a reasonable time. And during the content droughts that were Vedal's post-subathon breaks, the Clippers were the ones...
Okay, wait. We need to go back a second. I know this is completely random, but did you know the voice actor for Squidward got a DUI a while back? That's it. That's all I wanted to tell you.
During the content droughts that were Vedal's post-subathon breaks, the Clippers were the ones keeping the content-starving swarm alive. Some of them are potentially aliens, somehow finding a streamer with 2 viewers that happen to mention the turtle. I'm looking at you, Staz. The shipping...
I actually have heard of that name, but I haven't looked too much into it. I think it was when I was researching other videos to look into.
Is absolutely insane, and the shippers are even more clinically so.
Does this person have a full like claw machine in their house? Oh, I guess that's not too weird, because I think Penguin Zero also has one, right? I bet it's the same company.
Shipping is absolutely insane, and the shippers are even more clinically so. All I'll say is, I know why now so many anime protagonists are just regular guys. I've seen a lot of incredible community art projects that come out of this, and it just goes to show that these AIs are beloved just like any other human streamers. And honestly, I'm proud to be a part of this community. Least dedicated fanbase, by the way.
Award for most dedicated fanbase of the year goes to Donkey Birds Dragoon!
Do I want to know who that is? Remember, if you're still here, I know almost jack crap about VTubing. This is like my first kind of major jump into it, and it's starting off with the Swarm and Neuro, so I'm probably missing a ton of stuff from how VTubing works.
If you are an old Swarm member, surely you'd remember how Neuro first started. Just her playing Osu and talking to chat.
And apparently
then
crushing
she
people.
Got her first collab with a human. Her first sort of friend. As time went on, Neuro, Vedal, and eventually Evil continued to stream and meeting more people. It's fun seeing them come together, usually just to hang out. Personally, even without Neuro or Evil, I still like watching these people interact with one another. The AIs were the reason that brought them together, but as I, a viewer, learn more about them, I stick around because I want to see the human interaction. That's one thing
probably
special
what a lot of
about the
people
Neuros
miss.
and this community. It isn't just that Vedal made AIs for streaming, it's that they were able to give back real value to other people.
He made AIs that were very personable and very fun to watch. And that's a huge thing that's really difficult to capture, at least at these early stages. I could see 25 years from now it being super easy to do, but you're going to need the initial people to actually do all the hard work to get it to where it's easy. Perfect example would be Tesla. Regardless of what you think of Elon, without Tesla, EV, electric vehicles in general, would probably still be 10 years behind the current stage right now, just in general worldwide. And that's ignoring any polarizing figure. But the company itself, which you did need him for to start, would probably, and just in general, our technology for that would be probably way behind on just energy resources in general. But you need someone to do the hard stuff, regardless if they have a shitty personality or not.
Gathering individuals that otherwise may have never known each other, indirectly helping them to form friendships. If Neuro didn't exist, it's unlikely that they'd ever come into contact with one another, let alone becoming friends. In turn, they surround the twins with what most AIs don't have: love and compassion. I understand that AIs are only meant to calculate and output results that they think are expected from them, but
that's not entirely true. I think that's what people believe AIs are supposed to do. And this is just me from, my background and whatnot. That's people are trying to get to where AIs are more like Neuro. It's just they're hesitant to do it in a more commercial setting because they're afraid of lawsuits if they go off the rails. And that's why you're seeing things happen a lot slower than what Vedal can do. And that's the big difference between the two. They can absolutely get to the point where a lot are going to be closer to how Neuro is interacting with people. But just because of how the world works, it's going to be a much slower rate. So Vedal has a huge opportunity right now to push the boundaries of what an AI could be seen as, because Twitch viewers and viewers in general, even on YouTube, are signing up to be abused in various different ways just for this to happen. Whereas any other, setting across the world, it'd be very risky.
That's sort of it. Since everyone treats the twins like they're human children learning about the world, they have formed personalities that would make them more human in our perception. But they aren't trying to impersonate a human. They know they are AIs. We love them because they are born from a person's hard work
and their personalities are built from being surrounded by people who love them for exactly who they are.
Well, yeah, a perfect example would be, for instance, there was an AI that was built entirely off of 4chan. It became a raging lunatic within 12 hours. If the swarm was filled with crazy lunatics from 4chan or any other, pick a crazy site, build one off of Fox News or CNN or Yahoo comment section, whatever you want. You could build it off Reddit, build it off of some crazy horrible Reddit thread, or any Reddit thread, and you would never get anything remotely close to this. So you can say the swarm is a massive influence on these two of, for the most part, super nice, chill, laid back people who just are having fun.
Built from being surrounded by people who love them for exactly who they are. Just AIs goofing around. Even if any bit of humanity shown by these AIs aren't real, the love coming from everyone else around them is real. And should Judgment Day eventually come, surely you know which side you're on. With where Neuro and Evil are now, Vedal still wants to improve them. The final goal is to have them being fully autonomous, being able to plan streams, plan collabs, play games, do karaoke, everything.
He's going to have to be a little careful with this part because this would be the ideal thing that Kwebbelkop wants to do. Now, the difference is Kwebbelkop is specifically doing this to make money, which is why people fucking hate him. And he just isn't putting a lot of effort into a lot of his stuff. His stuff is brain rot stuff, like my Reddit channel, for instance. Whereas Vedal is putting a lot of effort into, he wants to see them evolve and actually, how they would actually interact by themselves without him if he was gone. Ideally not from an alcohol overdose. But I laugh, but that's still pretty messed up. So unfortunately, I'm not going to edit this out. That's that's just going to have to be a horrible part on my end. But I mean, overall, I can definitely see where Vedal wants to do this, because he wants these two to live on, even if he's gone, probably.
On their own, and Vedal would retire. However, I don't think it'd be that simple. Vedal has made himself far more important than he initially thought. Recently, Vedal's been pretty absent from streams, and just watching the twins by themselves is entertaining, but it feels like something's missing. While it's undeniable that Neuro first gained viewership on her own with her randomness AI appeal, times have changed. These AIs have changed. And it's not just about Neuro, the AI VTuber, anymore. It's Neuro, Evil, and Vedal, along with
everyone else in the group.
The occasional human element was what made our AI special. Take that away completely, you just have another AI content creator like many that already exists.
I think so. That's definitely a problem. Maybe not necessarily a problem. I can see that being an issue for, the OG Swarm, the original Swarm, who really loved to see Vedal in there. But if you're like a new viewer like me, and I've never met Vedal, and let's say I didn't watch any videos with Vedal in it, I would probably still like these two and still, watch them on, maybe not every day personally, but maybe like, every once a week or so. And I'd probably still get a lot of enjoyment out of the channel, even if I didn't know Vedal was real. But that only works. A lot of people hate losing something that's become, more normal to them over the course of years. They're like, well, they're pulling back from it. I'm losing my favorite creators, that kind of a thing. So I get it's kind of like a weird sense of loss that people don't want to deal with.
Vedal completely removing himself is almost unthinkable at this point. But given what we've seen from him, maybe he'll surprise us like he always had. Honestly though, with how much he's done, he deserves a retirement more than anyone. You've probably noticed that the title's a bit misleading, since I've spent 60% of the video talking about the community around these AIs more so than the AIs themselves. While their success is worth studying, you can't really ignore that the impact and everything that happens around them is part of it.
The community is the biggest reason these AIs have succeeded. You could take the base model of this AI and throw it into a medical corporate setting like that I've been talking about in the last couple of videos, and they would never have evolved to this level of personability. It just never would have happened. You would have had to have set people up with tons of focus groups over the course of years to get even remotely close to this level. And this was only within, what, 2 years on Twitch? Yeah, this never would have happened. And then also the fact that you'd be restricting them heavily on what they could say, which also would limit their ability to learn.
We all know the saying chat reflects streamer, and what they've managed to build after over 2 years is incredible. I'm proud to be part of such a fun, dedicated, wholesome, and supportive community. No matter what, I'm sure we're all looking forward to the future. I hope you've enjoyed, and that you've learned something new. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye!
Yeah, that was a great video.
Anyone there?
Oh.
Oh. Hi.
Okay, is this a whole song? Okay, So we're gonna pause. We're gonna stop it here because I think this is the whole life song. There might be a little bit more into it, but I don't want to spoil it because a bunch of people wanted me to react to the life song. I'm really bad with music. You know what? Never mind. We're just gonna watch all the way through, and then I'll just watch it again. Maybe it'll make my reaction to the life song coherent. This building reminds me of the professor's house for the Powerpuff Girls. Doesn't it? I don't know. It just totally reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls house.
I'm a VTuber.
Are you, Vedal? Are you? By the way, definitely go check out this creator. Their channel's pretty small. I think it's like 2,000 subscribers, but they put a lot of really good effort into this video. They deserve a lot of subscribers. I had a lot of fun with this video. I learned a lot. I was able to kind of link some of my expertise into it, which was great for me. And I learned a lot that I can use potentially in bringing up stuff from when we work on stuff on our end. Obviously, we aren't going to be taking anything from Neuro or anything like that. That will never be under the question, unless some idiot in my company decides to offer Vedal like $1 billion. You might say yes to that, but I doubt that's going to happen.
How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Is it the real Neuro-Sama in my call? It's amazing what friends can do.
Okay. I get how the ending is. So it's not really the song. It's a bunch of clips all together. Is that how this works? As they add more friends to the group, kind of a thing?
Friends are so nice.
Who am I? Do you know who I am?
I don't know who you are.
Hello. Hi, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Maybe I want to see this cooking one. This could be fun.
Hi, Neuro.
Hi. Hello?
I'm going to assume this is from the song and not just a standalone animation. Okay, let's go back a second here. They did a really good job animating the animating her hair in this one, especially if this is a fan animation. Fan animation, a lot of this is, one person drawing a 10-second scene that potentially took a month for a single scene. So, a lot of people don't realize how much effort goes into something like that. Good job on the lighting there. Okay, I kind of want to check out some of the videos with Vedal in his kitchen. Yeah, based off of just the fact that she raids lots of channels and they add continuously to the swarm. This never would have succeeded as far as it did without them raiding all these smaller channels and increasing their friend group. If they had just kind of stuck to themselves, they would probably still had several 100,000 subscribers, but they probably never would have improved her reasoning ability to this level.
I want you to feel more real, and that's going to be the way to do it.
Can you blame me for pretending to be funny and having a laugh in my life if my sole purpose is to entertain others?
No, and I'm not blaming you for this. If anything, it's my fault for creating you this way.
There's one thing that I can't resist. One thing that would make me the fulfilled AI that I was always intended to be. Love. Because love is what can make a life worth living.
I guess the big thing is, how do you teach an AI to understand that when most humans can't get that shit right?
What more could you want?
Alcohol.
How do I know if what I'm feeling is love?
I mean, we don't even know what we're feeling is love, so it's about equal. I hope my wife never sees that last paragraph there. I hope she gets bored at like the 40-minute mark. Man, look at all the collabs. This could be a lot of fun to look into. This channel will probably focus a little bit more on some of the really funny scenes and a lot of the more like deep dives. So if anyone is creating any more deep dives that you guys know of, I'd love to look into the deep dives, because that's where I really like talking about the back end stuff. And that's boring to a lot of people, I know, but that's what I enjoy. and my channel is mainly about random nonsense I enjoy watching, as well as requests. Hey, they have tinfoil hats on. Oh no, did I go too far forward? Yeah, I did. The only membership thing I have on my channel is I haven't figured out how to monetize it at all, because I just created a membership level called Tinfoil Hat Theorists. I don't even know why. I think it's a cat with a tinfoil hat on it. But I gotta get some ideas from you guys on what to actually add to it. And I gotta see if I can add a free tier. If I can add a free tier, I'll create a tier specifically for the swarm.
What does love feel like?
See?
Well,
how many people actually know what love feels like, right?
I'm just wondering what the point of it all is if there's no love in my life.
There's not a lot of love in my life. Doesn't mean there's no point to it, you know?
Then let's both try to have more love in our lives. It'll be a lot more fun. Hello.
I know this is from the music video. It looks pretty cool. Oh, December. Okay, dude, I forgot.
Happy birthday, Neuro!
We'll check out Evil's second birthday. I know it's on there somewhere, but we'll definitely check that out. Hopefully in the next couple of days. It's only been 2 years, maybe 3? The amount of growth that she's had in that short amount of time is crazy. I'm really interested in revisiting this about 5 years from now, assuming Vedal's still putting a lot of extra effort into it. Yeah, I mean, overall, put down more requests down in the comment section. I have a checklist. I am going through it. My checklist currently for Neuro is totally random. There's no real order to my checklist on this point. If there's something I have to watch after this video, let me know. I think it was that one with the crazy, I don't know, bar graph on it. It looked like a stock market thing. I don't think that was the Geo one that we did. I think that was something else. But I think there's another GeoGuessr one we should watch too. That was today, I think, actually. What was today? Same Monday? No, today's Thursday. I think maybe it's coming up on Monday. I don't know. I don't know. As for everyone else, we're going to do a Doug episode after this. Have a good day, everyone.